Gospel of October the 19th, 2015. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance with me." He replied to him, "Friend, who appointed me as your judge and arbitrator?" Then he said to the crowd, "Take care to guard against all greed, for though one may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions." Then he told them a parable. There was a rich man whose land produced a bountiful harvest. He asked himself, "What shall I do? For I do not have space to store my harvest." And he said, "This is what I shall do. I shall tear down my barns and build larger ones. There I shall store all my grain and other goods. And I shall say to myself, now, as for you, you have so many good things stored up for many years. Rest, eat, drink, be merry." But God said to him, "You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, to whom will they belong? Those will be for the one who stores up treasure for himself, but is not rich in what matters to God." Gospel of the Lord, praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. We're just going to concentrate on this very beautiful scene of the Gospel. We are already on the 29th week of the Ordinary Time. And now until the 32nd, when we will celebrate the 34th, when we will celebrate the Christ the King of the Universe feast, we will be meditating through many things that are in the normal everyday things. Today we have the entrance to the scene with this. A man has come to him and asked him, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance." The man is not calling him Lord, just teacher. He wants perhaps to be supported by the teacher, and so have someone with authority to call to order the other brother. We do not know whether that was just or unjust. It is not explicit. But the Lord gives us some light when he says, "Who appointed me as your judge? Take care to guard against all greed." It seems, by the answer of the Lord and his comments, that someone who wanted the Lord to intervene was being greedy. And then he goes on to teach us, though you may be rich, your life does not consist of possessions. Nowadays, this saying is very hard even to understand or believe. All of us want to have a good house, want to have a good car, want to have a good what? A good life. All of us. Starting from the simplest of people, let alone Christians, going all the way to the priests, to the bishops, to the cardinals, except, of course, for Pope Francis, which is an excellent example of what a priest should be. He goes on to tell us a parable about this rich man who had a bountiful harvest. One would have to ask, it is very good for us to ask questions, to ask ourselves questions. How come did he have that harvest? Was it because he was lucky? Because that year he had very good seed? Why? Was it not because God blessed him? Yet, what does he do? With all the extra harvest, he doesn't say, maybe I should share something. Immediately he is worried because the space for the harvest that he already had, the barns, were not big enough. And then after the initial worry, then he says, "I will tear down my barns. I will build larger ones. And then I'm going to store all my grain, all my goods. Then I will say, hey, rest, eat, drink, be merry." All of us lawfully like to think about the time when we don't work anymore. We want to retire. We don't want to be working indefinitely. But is life itself not a gift? Is health itself not a gift? Then why should we be wasting our time, wasting about on a beach, on a place, and not working, at least partially, for somebody else, even if you don't have the need for money? That's the first question. Then he goes on to say, "You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you." God said to him, You're coming to my presence tonight. First question, to whom will the things that you have prepared will belong? We could quickly answer and say, well, Lord, remember the inheritance? Remember that we can just give it to our sons, to our family? And yes, but that is not good enough. That is not... The guy was thinking to enjoy himself. That's what he was thinking, that he was going to enjoy that. And then all of a sudden it is not going to be for him. It's going to be at least for his family, but not for him. Thus will be for the one who stores treasure for himself, but is not reaching what matters to God. What is what matters to God? We have heard it time and again. Chapter 25 of Matthew, "For I hungered and you fed me, for I thirsted and you gave me to drink, for I was naked and you clothed me, for I was a foreigner and you received me in your home, for I was sick and you tended me, I was in prison and you visited me." Those are the mercy works, what we should strive to do. Was it so difficult for that man and for me and you to think that when we have an extra harvest, it is not for us to accumulate, but to give to others? The man, rather than thinking, well, God has been so merciful to me, perhaps what I will do is just separate some of this and give it to someone or to many people that simply do not have the means to eat today, then he would have become rich in what matters to God. I'm not telling you that you should not plan for your retirement. But what I'm telling you is that you should rethink what God is asking of us. If you are a religious person, an ordained brother, then the Lord is asking us to receive what is necessary for our well-being: food and clothing and a place to live. No more. We don't need to have this year's model of car, the best. We don't need to live in a palace. We don't need to have 20 pairs of shoes and 15 pairs, or rather 15 wardrobes and stuff. With little, we are free for God and for everyone else. Separate a little bit of what you have so that you can give to the one that is in need. Then you will be rich in what matters most. And certainly, and hopefully for me, we all will meet happily in heaven. Until we do, God bless you all, brothers.